All right. Is that 51? But what you added was appalling, and indeed will have, I fear, a greater tendency to deter than to encourage. You would have every one of us a Rossius in our profession, and you said that what was excellent did not so much attract probation as what was faulty produced settled disgust. But I do not think that want of perfection is so disparagingly regarded in use as in the players, and I observe accordingly that we are often heard with the utmost attention, even when we are hearse, for the interest of the subject itself and of the cause detains the audience, while Esopus, if he has the least hoarseness, is hissed, for at those from whom nothing is expected but to please the ear, offense is taken whenever the least diminution of that pleasure occurs. But in eloquence, there are many qualities that captivate, and if they are not all of the highest excellence, and yet most of them are praiseworthy, those that are of the highest excellence must necessarily excite admiration. To return, therefore, to our first consideration, let the orator be, as Crassus described him, one who can speak in a manner adapted to persuade, and let him strictly devote himself to those things which are of common practice in civil communities, and in the form, and laying aside all other studies, however high and noble they may be. Let him apply himself day and night, if I may say so, to this one pursuit, and imitate him to whom doubtless the highest excellence in oratory is conceded. Demosthenes, the Athenian, in whom there is said to have been so much ardor and perseverance, that he overcame, first of all, the impediments of nature by pains and diligence, and though his voice was so inarticulate that he was unable to pronounce the first letter of the very art which he was so eager to acquire, he accomplished so much by practice that no one is thought to have spoken more distinctly, and though his breath was short, he effected so much improvement by holding it in while he spoke, that in one sentence of words, as his writings show, 2 risings and 2 fallings of his voice were included. And he also, as is related, after putting pebbles into his mouth, used to pronounce several verses at the highest pitch of his voice without taking breath, not standing in one place, but walking forward and mounting a steep ascent. With such encouragements as these, I sincerely agree with you, Crassus, that youth should be incited to study in industry other accomplishments which you have collected from various and distinct arts and sciences, though you have mastered them all yourself. I regard as unconnected with the proper business and duty of the orator. 52. When Antonius had concluded these observations, Scolpius and Cotta appeared to be in doubt whose discourse of the two seemed to approach near to the truth. Crassus then said, "You make our orator a mere mechanic, Antonius, but I am not certain whether you are not really of another opinion, and whether you are not practicing upon us your wonderful skill of refutation, in which no one was ever your superior, a talent of which the exercise belongs properly to orators, but has now become common among philosophers, especially those who are accustomed to speak fully and fluently on both sides of any question proposed. But I did not think, especially in the hearing of these young men, that merely such an orator was to be described by me as would pass his whole life in courts of justice and would carry thither nothing more than the necessity of his causes required. But I contemplated something greater when I expressed my opinion that the orator, especially in such a republic as ours, ought to be deficient in nothing that could adorn his profession. But you, since you have circumscribed the whole business of an orator within such narrow limits, will explain to us with the less difficulty what you have settled as to oratorical duties and rules. I think, however, that this may be done tomorrow, for we have talked enough for today. And Scaevola, since he has appointed to go to his own Tusculan seat, will now repose a little till the heat is abated, and let us also, as the day is so far advanced, consult our health. The proposal pleased the whole company. Scaevola then said, "Indeed, I could wish that I had not made an appointment with Laelius to go to that part of the Tusculan territory today. I would willingly hear Antonius, and as he rose from his seat, he smiled and added, for he did not offend me so much when he pulled our civil law to pieces as he assumed me when he professed himself ignorant of it.